Welcome back to another story from my book, Confessions of a Salesman, the book that started it all. Early in my sales journey, I came across a small advert in a national newspaper that caught my attention. It read, "Apprentice Millionaires Wanted." The advert suggested buying a book called Talk and Grow Rich by a man named Ron Holland. Curious about the idea, I sent away for the book. When it arrived, I started reading it that evening and quickly became fascinated by the ideas inside. The book talked about positive thinking, self-image, and the psychology of success. In fact, I found it so interesting that I stayed up most of the night reading it. My wife, Pat, even shouted down the stairs at one point, "Clive, are you coming to bed tonight or not?" But I couldn't put the book down. It sparked my first real interest in the psychology of selling and personal development. After finishing the book, I decided to write a letter to the author telling him how much I had enjoyed it. I thought perhaps he might appreciate the feedback and maybe even use it as a testimonial. To my surprise, a few weeks later, I received a reply. Ron Holland invited me to visit him at his office in London if I was ever passing through. As luck would have it, I was traveling to London the following week for a meeting with a fishing tackle company I had previously worked with, so I decided to take him up on the invitation. His office was in Harley Street, which immediately gave the place a rather prestigious feel. When I arrived, Ron welcomed me warmly, and we began talking about business, selling, and the power of positive thinking. To say he was a master salesman would be an understatement. He explained how he had used self-image and psychology to build a successful career and even claimed that the same ideas could help anyone become a millionaire. By the end of our conversation, I was feeling extremely inspired. Then Ron made me an offer. He suggested that since I clearly believed in the book, perhaps I might like to sell some copies myself. He offered me a large quantity at a special discounted price. Before I quite realized what had happened, I had agreed. A short while later, I found myself leaving Harley Street with the boot of my car filled with books. In fact, not just a few books, about 1,000 of them. My sales friends thought it was hilarious. It took me years to sell them all. But I suppose there was one lesson I couldn't deny. Even a salesman can sometimes be sold to. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this true story. If you like this series and want to hear more, please subscribe and come back soon.